श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे मुखं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीकृष्णतारिणम् तप्यमानं त्रिभावानां प्राणायामाधिसंगिना निर्गतेन मुनेर्मूर्ध्ना सम्मिख्या प्रभवस्त्रय तप्यमानं त्रिभुवनां प्रज्ञामयथा संज्ञिना निर्गतेन मुनेर्मूर्ध्ना समीक्ष्य प्रभवस्त्रय तपयमानं त्रिभुवनां प्रज्ञामाधि संज्ञिना निर्गतेन मुनेर्मूर्ध्ना समीक्ष्य प्रभवस्त्रये Anyone from the Matajis? Two verses today, so let's recite both of them together and then we'll do the translation proper together. Apsaro Muni Gandharva Siddha Vidyadharo Gnahi Vidya Maunya Yasyas Tad Ashrama Padam Yuhyo Apsaro Muni Gandharva Siddha Vidyadharo Kahi Vidya Manya Yasyasya Tadashram Padam Yuhu Apsara Muni Gandharva Siddha Vidyadharo Kahi Vidyayamane Yasyas Tad Ashrama Padam Yuyu While Atri Tapayamanam, while practicing austerities, three bhuvanam, three words, pranayam, practiced by breathing exercise, edasha, fuel, agnina, by the fire, nirgatena, issuing out, mune, the great sage, mudhna, the top of the head, samiksha, looking over, prabhava, try, the three worlds, the three gods, Brahma, Vishnu and Maheshwara. While Atri Muni was engaged in these verses, in these severe austerities, a blazing fire came out of his head by virtue of his breathing exercise, and that fire was seen by the three principal deities of three worlds. According to Sri Jiva Goswami, the fire of pranayam is mental satisfaction. That fire was perceived by the Supersoul. Vishnu and thereby Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva also perceived it. Atri Muni, by his breathing exercise, concentrated on the Supersoul or the Lord of the Universe, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. The Lord of the Universe is Vasudeva Sarvamiti, and by the direction of Vasudeva, Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva work. Therefore, on the direction of Vasudeva, both Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva perceived the silver penances adopted by Atri Muni, and thus they were pleased to come down as stated in this verse. Apsara, heavenly society women, Muni, great sages, Gandharva, inhabitants of the Gandharva planet, Siddha of the Siddhaloka, Vidyadhara, the other demigods, Uragai, the inhabitants of Nagalok, Vidya Manya, being spread, Yasya, fame, reputation, Tad, his ashrama, Padam, hermitage, Yuyu, went. At that time, three deities approached the hermitage of Atri Muni, accompanied by the denizens of the heavenly planet, such as the celestial beauties, the Gandharvas, the Siddhas, the Vidyadharas, and the Nagas. Thus they entered the ashram of the great sage who had become famous by his austerities. It is advised in the Vedic literatures that one should take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the Lord of the universe and the Master of creation, maintenance, and dissolution. He is known as the Supersoul, and then one worships the Supersoul. All other deities such as Brahma and Shiva appear with Lord Vishnu because they are directed by the Supersoul. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So in Bhagavad Gita, there's a verse, Vidya Vinaya Sampanne, Brahmane Gavihastini, Suni Chaiva Sapakecha, Pandita Samadarshina. So this means that an intelligent person, a Vidya Vinaya Sampanne, a person who is intelligent will be very humble. Vidya Vinaya Sampanne, Brahmane Gavihastini. And he won't differentiate between a Brahmana, an elephant, a dog, and a dog eater. Suni Chaiva Sapakecha Pandita Samadarshina. Such a Pandit sees everyone with equal vision. Although there's a difference between a Brahmana and a Shudra externally, the intelligent person realizes that the Super Soul is sitting in everyone's heart. Lord Krishna is there in everyone's heart. And they said that a good human being might not be a devotee, but a devotee will always be a good human being. So, seeing and experiencing the existence of God in every living atom, such a Pandit would actually have equal vision towards everyone, and they would love everyone because they see that in connection with the Supreme Lord, they see that the Supreme Lord is sitting in their heart. So there's a story which comes in Gaur Lila, where Srivas Thakur has a washerman, and he's very materialistically oriented, and he does not have any spiritual caliber. But once he sees Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu dancing, and he sees Lord Gauranga dancing in the Kirtan, Sundar Lala, Shatit Lala Nachat Shri Hari Kirtan mein. So when Gaur Hari was dancing, seeing that beautiful form of the Lord, this washerman gets completely attracted, and all his sins and all his materialistic conditioning gets washed. That washerman's conditioning gets washed, and he's allowed in the inner circle of the Lord, and he's dancing and he's singing, and he's completely maddened by the love of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And we see that the special service which Srivas Thakur has is that every night he would organize private kirtans for Mahaprabhu and Mahaprabhu's eternal associates. Not even pure devotees would be allowed. Only Nitya Siddha, extremely special associates, the close associates of the Lord would be in that kirtan. It was not that they were exclusives, but it was for the general people's sake, because during those kirtans such high mellows and such high mellows of rasas would be revealed by the devotees and Mahaprabhu, that it was better for everyone, that only the people who can understand that esoteric mood and that Mahabhav of Mahaprabhu would be allowed and would witness it. So one such night, Srivasangam, where Mahaprabhu was singing, dancing, and Srivas Thakur was organizing everything, a very unfortunate event happened where Srivas Thakur's son passed away. And most of his relatives, not all, but most of his relatives were in the other room by the dead body, and they were crying. And Srivas Thakur heard some crying, and he went inside, and he said, "Why are you crying? Why is this? Mahaprabhu Gauranga is doing kirtan outside. Why is this wailing and mourning sounds coming from inside?" So they said that your son died. And Srivas Thakur said, "Well, keep the crying to yourself. Keep it down. Mahaprabhu is singing and dancing, and we don't want to interrupt his kirtan." So, externally speaking, Srivas Thakur might act very hard-hearted, but actually he was bestowing the supreme benediction on his son, because the soul has already left the body. That might not come back, and do you want to cry and make, there are two options. Either one can cry and make the soul feel more attached to the body, because the soul doesn't want to go, and when he sees when it sees their relatives crying, the soul gets all the more attached to the body and doesn't want to leave the body, and says, "I don't want to go, I don't want to see my relatives crying." But if the relatives are singing and chanting the glories of the Lord, then the soul gets purified, and then the soul realizes its eternal position and goes to the high planets. So actually Srivas Thakur was not, unlike most of the people, he was not trying to satisfy his ego. He was trying to give Sadgati to his son, and at the same time he was trying to give pleasure to the Supreme Lord. So Srivas Thakur, he says, "Keep the crying to yourself, don't disturb Mahaprabhu's kirtan." And he comes out, and then Mahaprabhu is singing and dancing. And after a while, Mahaprabhu says, "Srivas, I'm not feeling the usual pleasure I do. Has something bad happened? Has something happened?" And Srivas Thakur said, "My son died." And Mahaprabhu said, "Why didn't you tell me?" And Srivas said, "Well, I don't want to disrupt your chanting and singing." And Mahaprabhu said, "But your son died." And Shiva said, "That's his karma, I can't do anything in that. But by your singing and chanting and dancing, he'll get purified." And Mahaprabhu said, "Take me to your son." And Mahaprabhu goes to that room where the dead body is, and he talks to the son. He says, "Oh son, why are you giving so much trouble and so much pain to your parents? Come back." And the child immediately comes back, and then the child is blessed by all the Vaishnavas and all the devotees and Mahaprabhu himself, and that's how Srivas Pandit's son gets revived. What I'm telling you the story is, actually there's a similar story which comes, not a similar story, but a story which has a similar lesson in Sri Ramayana. And this doesn't come in Valmiki Ramayana, but it comes in one of the Ramayans where when Lakshmanji had fainted, and Hanuman was going to Gandhamadana mountain to get the Sanjeevani. So at that time, Hanumanji happens to pass through Ayodhya, and he sees Bharat on the terrace, and Bharat asks Hanuman what happened. And Bharat said that, and Hanuman said that actually Lakshmanji has fainted, and he's got very less time. If I don't go in time, he might actually never come back. So Bharatji said, I can't tell this to his mother. You have to come with me and tell Sumitra Mai yourself. And Hanumanji goes to Sumitra Mai and tells him, all three mothers are sitting there, and he tells Sumitra Mai that such and such has happened, and Sumitra Mai starts crying and says, now take Shatrughan, because we need someone to serve Sri Ram. So if Lakshman is not there, take Shatrughan so that he can serve Ram. Actually take Bharat as well. And this is the love of the mothers of Sri Ram. This is the love the associates of the Lord should have. That no matter what happens, the service shouldn't get hindered. So when the desire for, when great personalities desire for God to be their son or God to be their intimate relatives, this is the standard which is expected. Many times children in a not so Krishna conscious family, when they are born and they try and practice bhakti, they get a lot of rejection, they get a lot of hindrance from their parents' side. But when parents, especially devotee parents, when they desire for devotee kids, this is the standard they accept. They want, they should try to acknowledge, because Krishna says, "Mad bhaktya puja badika." So if the Lord has to be served in such a standard, then what to speak of his devotees? So we see that Atri Muni and Anusuya Sati, they are doing so many austerities over here to get the Supreme Lord as their son. And we see that, Kaushalya, Sumitra, Kekai, they did so many austerities. Darshat Maharaj did so many austerities. Mahaprabhu's mother and Mahaprabhu's parents did so many austerities. Nanda and Yashoda, Devaki and Vasudev, as in their previous life, Vrishni and Sutapa, they did so many austerities. So we see that Atri Muni and Anusuya Maya are doing so many austerities to get the Supreme Lord as their son. And the Lord has finally appeared in the form of Dattatreya. So, while Atri Muni was engaged in these severe austerities, a blazing fire came out of his head by virtue of breathing exercise, and the fire was seen by the three principal deities of the three worlds. Now, the Lord has so many incarnations. It's said that the incarnations are like waves. There are unlimited waves, so there are unlimited incarnations of the Lord. Tulsidas in Raman says, Hari Ananta, Hari Katha Ananta, Kahit Sunay Vedi Sabsanta. So Lord has unlimited incarnations, but 24 prime incarnations are listed in Srimad Bhagavatam. And why does Lord incarnate again and again? So this question actually Akbar was asking Birbal once, that in your religion the Lord appears, the God keeps coming. Why is that? For in our religion the Prophet comes, he instructs, and then it's just done. All the rules and regulations of religion are just out there, but each and every time a God comes, he tells you something new, and why is this repeat telecast happening? So people said that, okay, he didn't say anything. He said that let's go for an outing. It's such a nice weather. Let's go for boating. And what people did was, on a separate boat, he asked some maid servants who had created like a doll. Like structure which resembled Akbar's son, and there were three boats. There were many boats. In one, Akbar and Birbal were there, and the other, the maid servant carrying the child was there. So the maid servant submerges the child, that doll, into the water, and when Akbar sees this, he just goes inside the water and tries to get his son back. But when he sees the thing he's trying to save, he sees that it's not actually his child, it's just a doll. So Akbar tells So people tell Akbar that I did this and I did this because, when you saw that your son was dying, you could have sent so many servants of yours to fetch your child. Why did you personally go? So he said, he's my child. I mean, that's my responsibility as a father. I have to save my child. So people said similarly, the Lord is so compassionate on his kids that whenever he sees that his children are in some type of agony or in some type of pain, Pavitranaya sadhuna vinashaya chatuskritam. So whenever sadhus are in any calamity, the Lord does not see what he should do or what he shouldn't do. He does not ask any personal associates of his to go. Most of the time, an insult comes. But when he sees that the children don't want to be saved, then he sends the elder brothers. Then he sends empowered beings like Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya, Srila Prabhupada to save us. Actually, that is one reason why Kali Yuga is so much is glorified. Even the devas, they do austerities to be born in the age of Kali, because in Kali Yuga the Lord is so desperate. The Lord is most desperate in Kali Yuga, because in Satyug he comes, he incarnates, no one challenges his position. If someone challenges his position, they are like big Hiranyakaships, big demons like Hiranyakaship or Hiranyaksha. The Lord comes, vanquishes them and goes back. But in Kali Yuga, everyone are like small Hiranyakaship and Hiranyaksha. So you literally have that much caliber to actually be so wrong that the Lord has to personally appear and vanquish us. Nor are we so pious to allow that love of God and go back to God. So Krishna, being the merciful Lord, he appears as Shiven Pr, and he comes and he gives Harinam. He gives a very easy way to experience that love of God and go back home, back to Godhead. So even the Lord says in Bhagavad Gita, यदा यदा हि धर्मस्य ग्लानिर्भवति भारत अभ्युत्थानम् अधर्मस्य तदात्मानं सृजाम्यहम् पवित्राणां साधूनां विनाशाय च दुष्कृतां धर्म संस्थापनार्थाय सम्भवामि युगे. I think this is one of the most famous shlokas of Bhagavad Gita. Everyone knows this one. So the Lord also comes as Yuga avatars. The Lord manifests various types of avatars. He himself comes in Dwapara Yuga, but he also manifests a lot of Yuga avatars. In Satyayuga he came as Hansa. Yuga avatar is basically an avatar of the Lord, where he comes to propagate the way to experience love of God in that particular millennium. So in Satyayuga we know that in Satyayuga or in Krityuga people would just meditate on the Lord and they would experience divinity. And in Treta Yuga elaborate yajnas were performed. Recently we just covered the appearance of Yagya avatar of the Lord. And in Treta the Lord Supreme Personality Godhead himself comes. And in Dwapara Yuga Sriman Mahaprabhu comes. So this story comes, so in the 11th canto, the conversation between Maharaj Nimi and Garbhajana, where Garbhajana Muni is telling Nimi Maharaj about the different incarnations the Lord takes, the different Yuga avatars the Lord takes. So I thought we should also cover them and discuss that, because recently Yakya avatar had come and he's the 8th in the list, and Dattatreya Bhagavan is the 6th on the list. So this comes in Srimad Bhagavatam. Shri Raja Vacha Kasmin Kale Sa Bhagavan Kim Varna Kitrisho Nirvi Namna Vikena Vidhina Pujate Tat Ichorchitam. Can we inquire in what colors and what forms is the Supreme Personality of Godhead appeared in each of the different ages, and with what names and by what type of regulative principles in the law is the Lord worshipped? And then Garbhajana Muni replied, Shri Garbhajana Vacha Kritam Treta Dvaparam Cha Kali Iti Eshu Keshava Nana Varna Dakuro Naina Eva Vidhi Yajate. Sri Karvajan replied, in each of the 4 yugas or ages, Krita, Treta, Dwapar and Kali, the Lord Keshav appears with various complexions, names and forms and is thus worshipped by the various processes. In Satyug, the Lord is white and 4-armed, has matted locks and wears a garment of tree bark. He carries a black deer skin, a sacred thread, prayer beads, and the rod and water pot of a brahmachari. What a beautiful form of the Lord. Actually, if we just close our eyes and imagine the Lord in Shwet one in white complexion and has 4 arms and has matted hair, just like Lord Ram when he was in Vanvas, he would have matted hair and he would look so beautiful. No crown could defeat that beauty. He would look so beautiful. And he would have, the sons of Tar would have 4 hands with a kamandlu, beads and a rod, a danda, sinhas danda. And he would propagate the way of meditation, meditating on the Supreme Lord. When we say meditation, meditation does not mean meditating on something impersonal. Meditation means meditating on the divine, beautiful form of the Supreme Lord. Krishna is so beautiful. Baraha Pidam, Natavara Karnayo Karnikaram, Vibrat Vasaha Kanaka Kapisham Vaijayantim Chimalam, Randram Venu Kadara Sudaya Punen Gopa Brandaya, Brandaranyam Svabadaramanam, Pravishat Gita Kirti. This is a verse in Srimad Bhagavatam where gopis are describing the beauty of the Lord. Barha Pidam, Natavara Vapahu. So he wears a crown full of peacock feathers and Natavara Vapu, just like how a dancer walks and a dancer's body is, the Lord's beautiful slim waist, and on that the waist is covered with a beautiful golden yellowish colored dhoti. Natavara Vapahu Karnayo Karnikaram, and he has a karnika flower on the top of his ear. Some commentators say that actually Krishna has 2 karnika flowers on both of the ears, but some commentators say that it is actually 1. But Krishna, being so fidgety, he puts it on this ear and then he puts it on this. So he just keeps on doing this. It seems as if there are 2 karnika flowers. So Karnik, Bharha Piram Natavara Vapu, Karnayo Karnikaram, Vibrat Vasaha Kanaka Kapisham Vaijayantim Chimaram. And we already talked about the dhoti. And the Lord actually tucks his dhoti. When he is going for grazing the cows, he tucks his dhoti because so that the dhoti does not come in the way. And he's dancing. He walks less, he dances more. And Balaram goes ahead because he's a more focused one. So he goes ahead and he keeps his plow in the direction in which his younger brother has to come. So in that direction the Lord sees, okay, so Ram has gone this way. So then all of them follow. So Krishna with his cows, 900,000 cows, and all the gopas, they all dance, they all sing, and then they also play various games. They are Aham Puram. This verse also comes that how gopas are chasing and they are having a transcendental competition who will touch Krishna first, and they have these racing games and everything. So Netavar Vapahu Karnayo Karnikaram Bibrat Vasaha Kanaka Kapisham Vaijayantim Chimalam. So the Lord wears a Vaijayanti Mala. We see all the Matajis, they do so much, so much goes in actually making those beautiful garments which Radha Gopinatha is wearing. When we see the deities, we see, okay, everything looks fine. But actually when you see Matajis, the whole day they are just, making the garlands. Each and every petal they fold it in such a way and in such a complicated way and make color combinations. I think Gopinath is wearing light pink and yellow colored Vaijayanti Mala today. So Vaijayanti Mala. Traditionally Vaijayanti Mala is made of 5 flowers. It's Kunda, Parijat, Kamal, Tulsi and Kadamb. These 5 flowers are traditionally there in the Vaijayanti Mala. Vaijayanti Mala. So, Barha Piram Natavara Vapu Karnayo Karnikaram Viprat Vasa Kanaka Kapisham Vaijayantim Chimalam Randran Venu Adara Sudaya Punen Gopa Vrinda Vrindaranyam Svapataramanam Pravishat Kirta Kirti. And Krishna with his lotus feet is grazing the divine land of Vrindavan in this way. So when Hams Avatar is actually propagating meditation, he's talking about how we should meditate on this beautiful form of Lord Narayan or Lord Krishna. So in Treta, the Lord appears with a red complexion. He has 4 arms, golden hair. Please close your eyes and imagine this beautiful form of the Lord. The Lord appears with a red complexion. He has 4 arms, golden hair, and there is a triple belt representing initiation into each of the 3 Vedas, embodying the knowledge of worship by sacrificial performance, which is contained in the Rig, Sama and Yajur Vedas. His symbols are the ladle, spoon, and the implements of sacrifice. Tretayam Rakta Varnesu Chaturbahustri Mekhala Hiranyakeshastraye Atma Shuk Survari Upalakshana. So in Treta Yuga, the same Lord incarnates in a red complexion, in red complexion, and he has 3 lead belt on his waist, and he has Sruk and Surva in his hands, which are spoons, special spoons we use for sacrifice. So the Lord is propagating the Yuga Avatar for Treta Yuga. We see that Satyug, Treta, in Satyug, all the incarnations, Satyavrat Muni and Manu, they meditated on the Supreme Lord, and Lord came as Matsya. The Devtas meditated on the Lord at the time of Samudramanthan. The Lord came as Kurma. Then now the Lord in Treta, we see Lord Ram came through elaborate sacrifices. Now Ashwamedh Yagya and Putra Kamashti Yagya were performed by Dasharatha Maharaj to evoke Lord Ram. And we know how Sri Ram came, a divine being from the sacrificial fire arose, and he gave a special pot to Dasharatha Maharaj and asked him to distribute it equally among his wives, and 1/2 was given to Kaushalya, 1/4 and half of that, and 2 halves was given to Sumitra, and the other half remaining was given to Kekai. So the Lord comes through elaborate sacrifices, and Putra Kamishti Yagya, Hiranyakarbha Yagya, Ashwamedh Yagya, all these Rajasuya Yagyas were performed until Kali Yuga. Actually, Kali Yuga, Ashwamedh Yagya and all these elaborate Yagyas are not permitted. 4 things are not permitted actually. Sacrificing animals to the ancestors, marrying more than one girl, taking sannyas, and sacrificing animals to demigods. These 4 things are actually prohibited in the age of Kali. So the Lord comes in this red colored incarnation, and so Prabhupada gives a purport here. The shuk is a particular implement for pouring ghee and sacrifice it. It is about an arm's length and is made of particular type of wood called Vaikhankata. The shuk has a rod-like handle and a spout with a shallow groove as its tip that resembles a swan's beak. Its front part is covered out spoon the size of a fish. The shruva is another implement used in the sacrificial obligations. It is made of khadir wood, is smaller than the shuk, and is used to pour ghee into the shuk. It is also sometimes used instead of shuk to pour ghee directly into the sacrificial fire. These are the Lord's symbols in Treta Yuga, when the Lord incarnates to introduce the Yuga Dharma of yajna or sacrifice. Then in Dwapare, Bhagwan Shyama Pitavasa Niyuddha Shrivatsa Ankaischa Lakshanair Upalakshana. In Dwapara Yuga, the Supreme Lord of Godhead appears with a dark blue complexion wearing yellow garments. The Lord's transcendental body is marked in the carnation with Srivatsa and other distinctive ornaments, and he manifests his personal weapons. The Lord's transcendental body in Dwapara can be compared to the color of a dark blue flower. The Lord exhibits his personal transcendental weapons, such as the Darshan Chakra, and all the limbs of his body, especially his hands and feet, are decorated with auspicious symbols such as lotus flower and a flag. And on his chest, the Lord manifests the Kaustubha jewel as well as the auspicious Srivatsa, a whole of white hair curling from the left and to right on the right side of the Lord's chest. Actually, such auspicious marks as Kaustubha and Srivatsa as well as the weapons of the Lord are present in all the Vishnu Tattva incarnations. Srila Jiva Goswami explained that these universal characteristics the Lord mentioned by the sage card Bhajan are indications of Krishna avatar, because Krishna is the source of all incarnations, of the symptoms of all incarnations are to be found in the transcendental body. So in Dwapara Yuga, Krishna appears Etesham Chikalapunsam Krishnastu Bhagavan Swam Indradi Vyakalam Loke Nidyanti Yuge Yuge. So Krishna is actually the fountainhead. He is the avatari of all these incarnations. And when Krishna appears, actually this purport tells about a Srivatsa mark on the chest of the Lord. And I was listening to a lecture a few years back where this lecturer was saying that Krishna is always 16 years old, and you would never see Krishna as as an old man, or you won't see Krishna with white hair coming, and you won't see Krishna with a stick. And at that time I was thinking, if we can't see white hairs in the Lord, then that is also a type of incompleteness in the Lord. Because if Krishna is everything, if Krishna is the source of everything, he should have everything in him. So why would someone say that the Lord cannot have this or Lord can't have this? That's also a type of incompleteness. But when I was reading this translation, I saw that there are white hairs curling in a circular motion on the chest of the Lord. And obviously those white hair are also transcendental. They're not like white hair of old age, which the conditioned souls have. They're like most beautiful white hair. Like that white hair can put the white fur of the swan to shame, and that white color can put the most whitest thing in the world to shame. That white hair would be so beautiful. And he has this Srivatsa sign on his chest. And Krishna comes in the complexion of the blue flower or the blue sky. Whenever the peacocks see Krishna, they start dancing, because whenever they see Krishna, they are reminded of the blue clouds. Or we can say that whenever they look at the blue clouds, the peacocks in Vrindavan are reminded of Krishna and they start dancing. Because Krishna's complexion is so beautiful that actually the clouds have stolen the complexion of Lord Krishna, who is the source of everything. So Krishna is, we all know Krishna is so beautiful. We can go on till tomorrow Mangalarati just discussing the beauty of the complexion of the Lord. Or we can just talk about the whiteness of the white hair which Krishna has on his chest. So the Lord comes in Dwapara Yuga and he propagates the Yuga Dharma of deity worship. We see elaborate deity worships happening in Dwapara Yuga. In fact, each and every Mahishi in Dwarka would have their own deity of Krishna. We see, I think Guru Vayur is actually the personal deity of Rukmini Devi. So Rukmini Devi once goes to Lord and says that, I heard that you had such cute and wonderful baby pastimes when you were in Vrindavan. I want to have a look at that, because a few days back she heard that actually Krishna revealed that childlike form to Devaki, because Devaki Mai said that I actually missed all your childhood pastimes because I met you when you were Kishore. I want to see see your Bal group. I want to see your childlike form. And Krishna manifested that childlike form in front of Devaki. And then Rukmini had that desire that I want to see my husband's childlike form. How he would look when he would talk in gibberish language. How cute he would look when he would actually try to walk with his small lotus feet and lotus hands, he would crawl. So I want to have a look at that. So Krishna says, for my mother I can, but it's very awkward for me to actually manifest a child-like form for my wife. So why don't you worship this deity? And Krishna manifests this deity, Kuru Ayurappan. This looks exactly like my childhood form, and you worship him, and you will, and the beautiful childlike form will be revealed to you. So, and then our favorite verse and our favorite incarnation. Karvajan Muni tells us that, Krishna Varnam Tusha Krishnam Sango Pangastra Parshadam Yagnya Sankirtanai Prayajanti Sumedasa. And this should be our favorite verse in the entire Srimad Bhagavatam, because this authenticates the incarnation of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. A long time back when Prabhupada was there in his Prakat Leela, some sannyasis from Swaminarayan Sampradaya, I don't know if you have heard of it, Swaminarayan Sampradaya came, and they were saying, and they were telling that how Swaminarayan is also an incarnation of Krishna or Narayan. And Prabhupada rejected it, because Prabhupada said, I don't find any evidence of it in Srimad Bhagavatam. And if you see Swaminarayan Sampradaya and us, we have a lot of things in common. But Prabhupada said, all respects to you, but there is no evidence of Swaminarayan in Srimad Bhagavatam. All incarnations are listed in Srimad Bhagavatam. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's incarnation, if someone asks us, you are worshipping Sriman Gauranga Mahaprabhu, the Lord is called Tri-Yugi, Satya Treta Dwapar. There is no such incarnation of the Lord in Dwapar Yuga. But then Karvajan Muni tells here in the shloka above, he says that in Krit, Treta, Dwapar and Kali, all forms, all four yugas, the Lord appears. And the Lord comes in the Channa Avatar, because Srimad Bhagavatam is an Amal Puran. It is the life of all the Vaishnavas, and Vaishnavas in Navadvip would also read and listen and recite Srimad Bhagavatam. But the Lord comes in hidden incarnation. So Krishna Varnam Tusha Krishnam Sango Pangastra Parshadam Yagnya Sankirtanai Prayajanti Sumedasa. In the age of Kali, the intelligent persons perform congregational chanting to worship the incarnation of Godhead, who constantly sings the names of Krishna. Although his complexion is not blackish, he is Krishna himself. He is accompanied by his associates, servants, weapons, and confidential companions. The Lord is known as Tri-Yugi, but he manifests as Sriman Mahaprabhu in Kali Yuga. Because even Karvajan Muni in his conversation is telling Maharaj Muni that the Lord comes in Kali Yuga. So that actually is a very good evidence for which Vaishnavas can quote for the authenticity of the incarnation of Sriman Mahaprabhu. So when Mahaprabhu incarnates, he incarnates and his weapons are Harinam Sankirtan. So I was saying that why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is a confidential incarnation, because he does not want to get hindered by people telling him that you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And if people in Navadvip would know that actually Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Mahaprabhu might miss out on all the childlike pastimes he had and all the sweetness he had in all these pastimes, and that bhav of Aishwarya would manifest, and Mahaprabhu would not even be able to experience Radha Bhav, for which he has incarnated, to experience the mellows and the love which gopis have for him. So the Lord comes in this beautiful form, and we see that Lord also comes as Dattatreya. In one of the purports of Chaitanya Charitamrita, Parar 1.3.28, Shri Chaitanya Prabhu Vande Bolo Piyat Anunkahat Tari Nanda Nana Mata Griha Vaya Pitani Siddhantas Agaram. So Prabhupada gives this purport that the Lord's empowered incarnations, Narada and plenary incarnation Varaha, as well as indirectly empowered Lord Buddha, create faith in the mass of people. The incarnation of Raman, Dhanvantari, displayed his fame, and Balaram, Mohini, Vamana exhibit his beauty. Dattatreya, Matsya, and Kurma and Kapila exhibit his transcendental knowledge. By the mercy of the Supreme Personality of God, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, even an inexperienced boy with no educational culture can be saved from the ocean of nuisance. With such full various types of philosophical doctrine, which is full of various types of philosophical doctrines that are like dangerous aquatic animals. The philosophy of Buddha, the argumentative presentations of the Gyanis, the yoga system of Patanjali and Gautama, and the system of philosophers like Kannada, Kapila and Dattatreya are dangerous creatures in the ocean of nuisance. So even in Bhagavatam we see that Shukdev Goswami has very briefly mentioned the incarnation of Dattatreya, because somewhere the philosophy which Dattatreya Bhagavan is actually propagating does not match the mellow and the mood of Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam is there to glorify the personal aspect of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Although some people claim that Dattatreya gave impersonal philosophy, he actually gave personal philosophy, but it did not match and it did not go in the line with the mood which Srimad Bhagavatam is actually trying to propagate and trying to cultivate in the heart. Because Vyas had compiled so many Vedas, so many scriptures, the 4 Vedas and so many scriptures and so many Puranas, but he was not satisfied till the time he did not glorify the beauty of Krishna, the beautiful relationship Krishna has with his devotees. So Srimad Bhagavatam concentrates on that, but because Dattatreya is also an incarnation, a very brief mention of his pastimes have been there in Srimad Bhagavatam. I think it's already time, we should end here. Any questions, comments or suggestions? Any questions? Okay, so we should end here then. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Jagat Guru Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Gurudev ki jai, Samaved Bhaktavrinda ki jai. All glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga, Jagat Guru Shri Prabhupada ki jai.